All right, people who are on time, you know me, I got my words of wisdom here. So saw something really pretty today. As I do my walking, you know, I listen to my motivational podcasts every morning. So then I saw something really pretty online today. So if you know sunflowers, you know that when they grow, they turn up and they follow the sun. But when it's cloudy and gray, if you ever notice them, they turn towards each other because they pull the energy from each other. That's how they grow. They pull the energy from each other. So let's imagine if we could get people to do that in times of need. So if we could all be like sunflowers today and pull the energy from each other in our times of need, and we turn to each other and pull our energy and our resources from each other. So in your mind, we're going to be sunflowers today and grow. And if we can't do it on our own and looking up, let's look towards each other. All right, I'm off my soapbox. It's 9:10.
Great.
That was awesome.
That's great motivational. That was great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Elliot, you can take it up.
Absolutely. Thank you. Wow. Sunflowers. And they don't have a brain, but they know what to do, right? They know how to survive. It's very interesting. That's very interesting. Wow. Okay. Good morning, folks. We have a schedule, but we're also going to tune it up to basically what happened yesterday. Liat, take it over and see what we're doing.
Sure. So we have some more team members today, and they're going to walk you through some of our curricula that you're going to be using and showing you what it looks like. But before we go there, why don't we see if you have any burning questions after yesterday, or after if you kept going on map number 3, if there were any more questions that came up.
Liat, I put 2 on the board in a rectangle. Now I can't exactly remember what it was. One I know for sure was a video I watched. I watched it several times and I just couldn't get it. It was the video between collaborative and individual. There was collaborative and individual nodes on a map. And how do you distribute that when you have to distribute it both collaborative and individual nodes and it's on the same map? And I couldn't, even though I watched the video several times, I couldn't figure out how to distribute that. So maybe if sometime today, if we have a chance, we can go through that one. Absolutely. And then I know the other question now, I remembered. And you might have touched on this yesterday. We grade our assignments and stuff in roadmaps. Does it interface with the grading in Google Classroom? Because I'm sure that they're going to post different things in Google Classroom. And does it interface the two? Or will we, because then we post in MyStar over here at eCourse.
When I am looking at student work in roadmaps, I will make comments about their work, but I add their actual numeric grade either to my Google Classroom that I can load to Infinite Campus, or I put it direct in Infinite Campus versus putting the numeric grade into the roadmaps. I just make comments about the student work back to the student. And then if I posted it as an assignment in Google Classroom, the numeric grade will be there for the student to see on the assignment in their Google Classroom. Otherwise, if it's like an assessment, then I post the assessment grade directly to our Infinite Campus gradebook.
Okay, so then no sense to grade it and put a numeric grade in roadmaps. So do it directly in MyStar.
Yes.
So you're only making comments in roadmaps and or Google Classroom and then post a numeric grade in MyStar.
Yes.
Nicole, when you make those comments, when you make those comments in the roadmap, do you use the nodes then, but a blank node? Or
post a blank node
Okay.
onto the front of the student's map, so that way they don't have to, like, because sometimes like they'd have to go into Writer to see something, and if there's several nodes on the map, they don't see it. So I normally add a blank node right on the front page or on the first page of the student map.
I started doing
Another teacher I was working with said she always told them it was a different shape and a color. They knew to look for the red triangle or the red, like the kids will know there's a note if they see that on that first page. But I just wondered, there's so many different ways to do that. And then you can put the comment into the Google Classroom if you're distributing that way. But so your grading program, it syncs with Google Classroom. Is that right, Nicole? And MyStar does as well. I'm not familiar. Because like in Marysville, Kristen, we had Skyward, right? When we were, or we called them Mr. Bojangles, but it was Zangle, wasn't it? And if it syncs with the Google Classroom, because you don't want to do double the work. That's what you're asking. So thank you.
MyStar does not sync with Google Classroom. So what my point was is I want to make sure that the teachers know not to grade in Roadmap, not to grade in Google Classroom, and then have to transfer the same grade 3 times over into MyStar.
Oh, okay.
And one thing that I started doing on my roadmaps, because I always use the distribute option, so I send it out to my kids, which means then I cannot add nodes or anything after it's distributed. So what I started doing is I always put a writer node in, and I named it feedback, and trained my students, this is where you go to look, because I was doing a weekly map. And so everything for the week was laid out, and I didn't want them searching. And honestly, our 8-year-old's going to go search for feedback from their teacher. So my trick was to get them to look at their feedback node is I usually did a video, because they wanted to see you and, get that video feedback. And it does take a little bit for those videos to load, but I found that when I started doing the videos, they were more responsive to my feedback. And I think it's just because they could see me instead of having to read my notes. So that was a trick I teach 3rd grade. So that was kind of a trick that worked out well for me.
So Dawn, you mean on a Collaborify writer node? On a writer node, right? So you could video. That's a great idea, and just label it feedback. Yeah. And they once you show them, they've got it. That's a great. I've had that question a couple times in the last couple days. That's great. Thank you.
Then they just knew where to look. It worked out really well for me.
Any more questions?
Yeah, good suggestions.
Yeah.
Good suggestion. We'll make a video. How to give feedback. That's a good. Leah's noting it. I know she's writing it down now.
All the ways.
Different. Yeah, that's right. Different ways to get feedback. It's great.
So any more burning questions? Anything else?
Yeah, that's
that
good.
you want to know?
Principal Jackson joined us. Hi.
Okay. So I don't see anybody raising their hands or unmuting themselves. So what we're going to do now, let's do a poll. Raise your hand or put the icon if you completed map number 3. That's the scavenger hunt map that you started yesterday. The PD number 3.
Teaches you about the Collaborify system.
Mhm.
How many of you have done that? Oh, thumbs up there. Thanks, Wendy.
Tiffany has her thumb up.
Oh, good.
Wendy.
So it sounds like some of you might benefit from some more work time to complete
Thank
it,
you.
and some can can keep going and create other things. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, Christine, why don't we start with you because you have to go, right? Why don't we show and engage New York math? I can share my screen and you can talk about it.
Perfect.
And that's Eureka.
Yes. Engage New York, Easy Eureka Math. They're the same. And Don can chime in later because they're both math, because they are both two of our math maps creators. So they can talk about math, and then Denise will share a map of social studies with you. How's that?
Because those are the ones, right, that you're going to really need to use right away. And then Liat's going to show you an Engage New York starter one, how you can more gently move into it. So you're going to be a bunch of math and then the social studies. We can do other ones, but I know those are the two that you really do need. Is that right, Sandy? Folks? Yeah. Okay. I see Dina's here too. Hi, Dina. Take it away.
And give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up a full unit map just so you will see what you're going to be getting. That's not necessarily what you're going to share with your students, but this is what it's going to look like when you get it, and we're going to show you how to get to a lesson.
Are you going to the repository to get that right now, Liat?
I can. I have it. I already have it, but I can go and show how to get it from the
I
repository.
just think the more it helps me, the more I see to go get it. And I think that'll be helpful for them to see you go in there and do that. It takes a little practice.
Absolutely. So I am on roadmap.center. That's your teacher website. I'm going to search repository. That's the magnifying glass on the left bar. And here I can search all the maps. So for now, all of our maps, all the Center for Digital Curricula maps start with UMCDC. So I'm going to put in UMCDC. And let's say that I'm looking for Engage New York Math maps. So I'm going to put okay. I can also search by grade and or by subject. And let's see. And then I'm going to go to save to my roadmap collection if I want to download the map and get a copy to my collection. It's going to take a while because it is a biggie. The Math New York maps are full units. You're getting the whole module. Some of them have more than 30 lessons, as you know. So in the meanwhile, I already have it. I can pull it off my repository.
Would you explain what you're doing with this NY and all that good stuff? I mean, how you're doing that? Yeah.
Sure. I went to modify my roadmaps. Now, the map that I downloaded will be the first one on the list. But once I've downloaded multiple maps, I have a few in my personal collection at this point. I can always search my collection as well with the search bar. So I know that the Engage New York maps, for example, have the New York in their title. So I just searched New York, and so all of my math units that I've already downloaded come up. If I want to see specific lesson, I can click Show Nested Roadmaps, and it's going to show me all the individual lessons inside as well.
And then we have a coding system on there. So we have ENY, and then we have the grade levels. So if it's ENY 4, that means 4th grade. And then module. So for example, this is kindergarten. So in the cloud, it says K, or excuse me,
let me pull up a first grade example.
Thank you. So we have the grade level, the module, the topic letter, and then the lesson.
So again, I can search New York, and I have multiple grade levels, but you're only going to get the grade level that you want or need. Where is it? Let's see, first grade. Here we go.
Kristen, you created the 5th grade. And
Fifth grade and second, Leah. If you want to bring up a 5th grade or a 2nd grade.
Absolutely. Let's bring up 5th grade. show some lower L and higher L.
Yeah.
How's that? So this is what but just to kind of iterate what Dawn was saying, all the maps are named the same: UMCDC, grade, Engage New York, module. So now Christine's map is going to be UMCDC 5th grade, Engage New York, Math Module 1. And this is what it's going to look like while I have the full modules open. You get to see all the topics, additional resources, and assessments. This is what your main map is going to look like. And now I'm going to pull 5th grade. And it's going to look exactly the same, just with 5th grade lessons. And again, everything is in the repository. You just click, let's see, it's probably already downloaded. There we go. So I just downloaded a map. I remember I clicked Save to my roadmap collection, and then I can click Modify Roadmap to look inside and to modify it. Or I can continue searching.
Can we check the waiting room? Someone is waiting.
There we go. And there is 5th grade for you. Again, all the topics, extra resources, and assessments on the side. Christine, is there a specific lesson you want to
No, just go ahead and click on a module, and then they can actually see, go through a lesson to see what's available.
So I clicked on topic A and I launched it. And now I'm going to have all the lessons of topic A on this map. First lesson?
Sure. Because they're all formatted the same way.
So then you choose the lesson you want, click on it, and click launch. And now you're getting to a lesson, and that would be the map you're going to share with your students or put in a schedule because it's the lesson. There we go.
Do you want me to go through what's on here?
Yes,
Yep.
please.
Okay. So each lesson with Eureka, of course, has that driving question. Each map has the driving question, and it's formatted identically to what would either be in the Eureka workbook or on the Engage New York website. So the fluency piece is all in the pink nodes. It will take you through the sprint if the lesson has it. And then the other two pieces that are typically in the fluency are a type of a review node. So those are embedded into the lesson. And then of course there's the application problem, which usually requires anywhere between 6 and 8 minutes because it's a little bit of a deeper, higher level of thinking. All the application problems have been recorded so students can listen to a voice to help them through the assignment. And then there's the ad. So if you use the microphone,
Sorry?
that one may not have one. The higher level thinking skills and two-part questions sometimes have a recording if they need it. And after the application is the actual lesson. The concept development is linked right to Khan Academy, so you can hear the lesson being taught from Khan Academy. The problem set is a PDF, which allows the student to actually write on the worksheet, the document.
Can we please check the waiting room?
There's a couple teachers in the waiting room trying to get.
I'm not seeing it, but hold on. Let me, I'm trying. Oh, I see it now. Sorry. I see it now.
And Kristen, on the problem sets, and I know with all our PDFs, just as a
Sorry.
reminder, the students can write, they can write their answer, they can type it, right? Remind us of that, maybe, just.
Absolutely. So the T in the bottom left-hand corner, if you click on that T, you will be given a box, and that box allows you to type in it. If you would rather write your name, there is the paintbrush. So this allows you to look at a worksheet just like you would in class. The kids can type right on it, and then you'll have your immediate feedback, both with the problem set and the homework. So there's a node for the problem set, which is basically the practice set in class, and then the homework worksheet, which there's a node for the homework. The debrief is just like it would be in the New York Engage curriculum, answering questions to problems from the practice set. So most brief questions are a short answer, just like you would in class when you would have a discussion about what you learned from the problem set. And then the exit ticket. The exit ticket is present with the key. Again, you can type right on it to get the feedback from your students. Every lesson has the answer keys and lesson plans. Those are with the teacher node of the Apple, so that you are the only person that can see that. Anything with an Apple node is strictly for the teacher. It will not be present on the student's roadmap. And then there should be the extra piece, Liat, where there's, yes, okay. So anything blue is additional resources. So it might be a game that was online that also reinforces the driving question. And then if there is any Khan Academy practice that is linked with the video, will be present on the roadmap. So there is additional practice for your students through Khan Academy or another web resource that reinforces the driving question.
And Kristen, all the lessons are formatted basically like the same. I mean, from
way. Everything in pink is fluency. There is a legend in the right-hand corner that lets you know what piece of the lesson it is. But they're all designed the same way. They look the same. So once your students get a practice with 2 or 3 of them, they'll be good to go on their own.
Awesome. It looks great.
Yes, thank you, Kristen. And why don't we, Dawn, why don't we show now, because we already have it open, a lower grade map, and you'll see the same structure, but how we adapted it for the younger learners. Dawn, do you want first grade or kindergarten?
Doesn't matter. First grade's fine, you got that up.
Okay. So again, I clicked on the topic that I need, click launch, then I'm gonna get all the lessons of that topic. And now I'm gonna open up a lesson.
I have a question real quick.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I'm going into the search repository and I'm looking up kindergarten, Engage New York, module 1. And I click on save to my roadmap and it just sits there and spins. It's not doing anything.
It's going to take a while. It is a large map. They have almost 40 lessons on their first module.
Right. Now, and then when you do the copy the teacher link, are you able to open up a new tab and put it in and click on it? Because it wouldn't open anything. It told me there was an error.
Oh.
So I don't know if it's on our end, if it's this computer.
You should be able to paste it to a new tab and open the map.
Let me try it one more time.
Or do the modify, the other button, and then go to your modify my lessons one. Or try and download one small one and just see that it makes it work. See that piece works.
Oh, okay. It opened this time.
Oh, good.
I put it in a new tab and it opened this time. But the first couple times I tried it, just kept giving me an error message.
So this is a good lesson, folks. This is a good lesson. These are the little things. Thank you. E-course. No, call.
Yeah, thank you.
Now she has a name now. It's Nicole. It's Nicole.
But I always know her as E-course.
Coach G.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important. Those little
No
things.
longer Coach G.
Yeah, that's right. Because I've had, even team members, we have that, we call it the spinning wheel. It just doesn't stop and stop. And just sometimes it's just either refresh or a new tab and it takes off. And again, we have those things come up for us as well.
Well, I'm happy everybody's that it's working. Dawn, you want to talk a little bit about what it looks like for the lower elementary kids? Did we lose Dawn? Lose Dawn? There we go. Dawn, you want to talk a little bit about the lower L?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I put my headphones in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you'll notice that we put icons in here and they're similar throughout all the lessons. So the fluency always has that icon, the read, draw, write in the application problem. So if you want to open the fluency, and you know that the instructions can be read. So we have the instructions both in the instruction box and in inside the activity so that it can be read. So a lot of times we have videos that go along with the fluency activity. And then their next step. So if you go down to the bottom of that slideshow, it'll tell them to make sure.
Dawn, I'm sorry. Professor Sulloway, we still have a couple folks in the waiting room.
I don't see
that
it.
they
I'm
posted
sorry.
about in the chat.
I'm sorry. I don't see it. I'm not seeing them.
I'm gonna go next door and make sure she's in the right
Yeah,
one.
I'm
I
sorry.
was just going to say that. They must be in a different room because he'd see it.
So you notice at the bottom, when there is a dash, it reminds them in the fluency activity to go to the dash, because normally they're going to be used to going to node 1, node 2, and following. So we put that little reminder in there. And then if teachers choose for them not to do the dash, they can take that out and they can Apple Note the dash. So we can go to the application problem.
A para in there.
She's good. She's
I'd love to
in.
be a para if they-
Thank you.
And Liat, could you go back and just show the node? Don't close the flip book, but just so open up the instruction box so they can see what we did there. So there is the problem. So our intention was they can hear the problem before they open the box or the node, and then go ahead and go inside the flip book, Liat. And then we also have the problem read to them here. So we put the reminder for them to push the play button.
Marcus had pieces of candy. He decided to give some to his mother and keep some for himself. Use pictures and numbers to show 2 ways that Marcus could have split up his 6 pieces of candy.
So we kept it pretty simple, but then they can listen to it again. We also put the push stop in there because some kids, once they push play, they think it's going to stop right after the reader is done. And then they don't know how to make it stop. So we added the push stop button or the reminder. And you can go to node 3. The lesson, we found a really great teacher who has all these videos, and what you'll notice is she does follow the lesson plan. However, she sometimes puts her own twist on it. So if you choose to, if you're face to face and you choose to teach the lesson, they can still go in and watch this lesson, which won't be exactly the same as what you did, what is laid out in Engage New York. So in Engage New York lesson plan, they might be using tennis shoes where she's using donuts. So it's not exactly the same, but I kind of liked that aspect because then the students can review this lesson after you've already taught your lesson. So those kids who need that reinforcement aren't going to be watching the exact same thing that you did. It'll just have a little bit different twist, but I think it really will help reinforce for those kids who need it. And then our reminder at the bottom to go to the problem set. And this is the PDF. Same thing with the exit ticket and the homework. And the, I forgot about this. This was a big thing that we did is because in PDF, currently it doesn't read to students. So we went in and we put all the directions that are on the PDF in the instruction box so that they can listen to instructions. We thought that was really important for the little kids to be able to read because we don't know if they're at home, if they're going to have somebody there to help them. So we wanted to put in as much support as we could. So they will be able to listen to the instructions, to the problem set, the exit ticket, the homework. And then we have the homework explanation and manipulatives. You can go ahead and open that. So we put in what the lesson called for, but also something a little bit extra to give you some flexibility as a teacher to use the manipulatives that you wanted to use, or maybe you do calendar, or you have some extra things that you'd like to do. So we put in, the 10 frame, the number board, the rec and rec. So you have all those online manipulatives. That was something that teachers had asked for. So every single lesson is going to have the manipulatives in them. And I didn't know about this set of manipulatives until we started building this out. So I'm kind of excited to use this with my students. They're really nice and colorful. They're easy to manipulate. And for students, I think they're going to be very easy for them to master and figure out how to use. And that way, if you have rec and recs in your room, or if you have kids who are distance learning, you have the manipulatives they need. And then I like that you can turn the 10 frame as well in this online manipulative. You can add more, so as you go. Do we have any questions or anything maybe that I left out? Oh, the blue nodes. Sorry about that. We have at least 3 extras for you. So we scoured the internet looking for things. You know, that's one of the things as a teacher I kind of like doing, but also it can become frustrating when you can't find exactly what you want. So we did that for you. So we have oftentimes a game and then some sort of practice and then usually some sort of song.
That really adds to the lesson, Dawn, right? I mean, that
Right.
really.
So you have either your early finishers or you have your kids that need reinforcement. So we felt like we're, you know, trying to span that spectrum of skill levels by adding those two. Liat, would you go to resources?
And that also makes it really the digital, right? We're taking advantage, folks. It's more than just paper. That's what Dawn is really trying to say. It's much more than paper.
And so we have the Engage New York website. If for some reason you want to go and delve deeper into something that they have, we have the Eureka Math videos that are for the teachers to help you in your preparation to see what the concept is in every single one of the lessons. And then we have the icons and we just popped that into every one. We thought that might be important if you have a sub and you need them to know what all those little icons stand for.
And any additional resource you might be needing for this lesson, maybe from previous lessons, they're all in here.
Oh, so yeah, Engage New York is kind of famous for saying, okay, see lesson 5, and you're already on lesson 11. So we backtracked and we put those things in resources. So if there was, a lot of times they'll have you go back and reuse a sprint or a dash. And so we went back and found those and put those resources in there. So you would have the answer key, or I think it was in 4th grade, a lot of times it will refer to a sort of a system or a pattern that you had set up earlier in the year, certain games or certain ways of counting, like the 10-way and those kinds of things. So in the 4th grade maps, we put that in resources, especially if you had a sub or if you forgot what that pattern was, or that setup. We put it in there for you, because that, as a teacher, that would drive me crazy, having to go back and try and find whatever that was that I did the 3rd day of school, and now I have to restart that. So we tried to put all that in there for you, so there's less searching for you.
I just want to add very quickly, we also offer 2 options for a debrief. You have the live debrief, which is what we recommend you do, because that gives you the opportunity to talk to the kids and see, did they understand the concept? Did they not? What are the misconceptions? But if you can't, then we also have the option for a individual or in pairs or in groups type of debrief. We have a video in each and every one of the debriefs. We put in a video reminding the kids how to answer the questions and move them to the top. We have the questions so they can be read to them. We added hints for the beginning of the answers. We also added pictures if they need them, just to remind them what question the debrief is referring to. And we always gave them, again, we're talking about kindergartners, 1st graders, 2nd graders. We also gave them the option to type their answer or record their answer.
So we really tried to keep in mind that differentiation that's needed.
Okay, and so that's math for you. Again, all of these units can be found in the repository, and you'll click on the topic and the lesson that you want. Okay.
And also, as a reminder on any of those, I mean, as you know, get to know your students, it's easy to take a note, or remove a note, add a note. I mean, if there's things that you have in your own resource. I know a lot of the teachers that I've worked with, well, I still want to use this. It's the full unit, but you can also adapt it and customize it to your own. But the format for the Eureka is well embedded in every lesson. So just a reminder of that.
No, thank you, Denise. That's very important. For example, I want to do the live debrief. I don't want them to see that option. I'm going to remove the Apple Note so it's visible, but I'm going to keep an Apple Note here. Let's say I don't want them to listen to the lesson here. I want to give the lesson. I'm going to Apple Note that so they can't see that piece. And I can also add resources. Let's say I have a really, really amazing game that I created and I want to put into this lesson. I can always click the plus sign and add, or just change the web resource, change the URL, take them elsewhere. I have a different website. So again, it's very modifiable. This is not a canned curriculum. It is yours to meld and create for your class. Okay, Denise, do you wanna talk about social studies?
Yeah, sure. I want to make sure that our audience doesn't have any math. I mean, I know again they saw first grade, they saw fifth. Before we lose Kristen, if there's any questions or any reflection on or anything else they want to see or talk about in that math, while we still have our math people both here. Anybody have anything they are thinking about or want to ask before we move into social studies? I'll kind of just lay it out. If not, we can go back to the repository and show them how to get to the social studies.
And again, all of the Center for Digital Curriculum maps are going to start with UMCDC. What grade?
Let's go fifth, because they saw a kind of a copy of third, and then I will kind of explain the format. Again, the roadmaps, the third grade one that I know we showed a vision of all 1 year, it was 4 of the units, and we used the Go Open, Mesa, and the Mesa MC3 are basically the same. So we use that as kind of the base, because that one was created first by our team member Monique. But hers was a little bit different from the fact that it literally synchronized with the Go Open textbook verbatim. The rest of the units weren't as they're a little trickier, but when we pull it up, I'll show you what I mean by that. If we just get to the main screen. And then the formatting is pretty consistent. Upper L and lower L, of course, has less.
And be patient. It does take time because, again, we give you the full units, and in the social study map, we give you the full year. You get all the themes, all the units. They're all in one map for you. So it might take a couple minutes to download. You're getting a lot of lessons there. And again, you will find all of them when you go to modify my roadmaps. All the maps that you have downloaded from the repository are going to be in your modify my roadmaps. Denise, in the meanwhile, I'll be also pulling up a lower elementary map so we can show the difference.
Sure. And let's see, so Dawn and Nicole, did you work on any of the lower L social studies? I mean, we've lost track too. There's been so much work all summer. Mine should be on the
I've been exclusively math.
Okay, that's what I thought. And we reviewed and so here it is, folks. This is oops, the screen that was just there was decided to leave. There it is. This is 1 full year of 5th grade social studies. There are 7 units. And again, like our friends in Kent City they do them a little out of order. These are formatted from the MESA units. And the resources, and when we go in, you will see, but this is the normal flow. Some people do not start off with the government review. That was 4th grade, but it's designed to be about a 2-week unit because it goes back to review, and it's a great way for a teacher to set up their classroom with the Constitution review and all of the things that, so if we want to just click on the government review to start, and I'll kind of show you the format of the units. This one is a little bit shorter than the others, but again, and to be customized by you as well. But we liked it, and I worked with gal Sarah Goldner from Kent City, who's been teaching social studies about 25 years, and we built this together. So the content, we feel really good about it. Within each unit, you will see off to the left, each unit has a graphic organizer, the word cards being your vocab, which we know are so important for the students to understand, giving you options many times to do with what you want to do, but we also interweave it in. And then if you're familiar, are you guys familiar with the MESA units in social studies? I didn't hear somebody. Is that what you guys are used to, the MESA, or the like, what do you use right now? Yeah. Okay, so you're, when you see the big ideas, this is right from the MESA brought in. Also, on the main page of the unit, we have for the teacher only, the standards, just so if you have to tie them in, into your lesson plans. And then at the very end,
I'm going to mute everybody. There's some hammering. Then I'm going to mute everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to stop there. That's my Bob the Builder's here right now, and he shouldn't be building right now. So
keep going. Keep going.
I apologize for that. Yes, it's too loud, Bob. It's really not Bob. So thank you. I apologize for that. So anyways, this is kind of like the unit. This is all unit 1. But then within each unit are the roadmap. So number 1, if you want to click on what would life be like without government, and as it launches, you will see the second, and again, we are consistent with the formatting throughout the inside units. And it'll be great for you guys because you're familiar with MESA. The driving question, again, there it is. Off to the side, just for that, the graphic organizer, the big ideas, just for that first lesson. So this is the lesson within. The vocab, of course, when you see learning activity, if you're at school, share and pair, if you're at home, however, that works. Every single node has a direction inside, and we have used the resources from my open book. And thank you. She's showing you turn to your partner, and if you're, again, you're at school, you could do that. At home, turn to someone at home. If you don't have someone there, talk to your stuffed animal, whoever it is, or talk to yourself. Again, going into formatting PDFs, always a text is always in green. We've used different colors to show you. And then when you launch this, what we've done is we've taken those large chapters from the Go Open and from the MESA units, and we've put them into the sections that you need, and you can still use the interactives inside. Because many of the people that have used the My Go Open like it, but they do not like the fact that they have to go through the authors and all of the intro. So we have taken that and brought it to you in a PDF form, so you can just have your students, and as we imported it, you can use the interactives inside. So it's a great way for you to use it, and we've given the kids directions as well. And again, you might change the directions up a little bit based on your own kids. Here's the kind of, what they'll see.
I have a question.
Sure, please
With
ask.
that open book, it was sometimes a glitch, and you couldn't get back to the actual text. That's fixed here.
That is another reason that we did break it down, yes, into the PDFs, because it's a lot more manageable. I think I worked on that open book with the group of teachers across the state, and many times that was a question that our director would get, because it was hard, or some of the places they were sending you, you weren't able to get to. I know exactly what you mean. If you ever have that problem within the book and you're using it, because we kind of put it in some other notes, the whole chapter, you can always contact them. But we made it easier here by pulling that into pieces. And I promise you, inside the notes, that will not happen. As far as, and if it does, you're going to send me an email and I can fix it immediately. So thank you. Great question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Using that Collaborify Writer again, the preamble, not just, having the students hear it. And I believe this is one of those preamble songs from good old Schoolhouse Rock, and asking them questions. We know September 17th is you have to do something to show that you're doing Constitution Day. Here it is. It's embedded in here. And then I think she's put the words to the preamble. There's a couple videos inside of here just to review that. Again, we know this was 4th grade, but we also know that the kids need those reviews. We've added some word, again, vocab, student learner rights, and we felt like this is a great way for the beginning of the year to set the stage for setting the norms, whether you're at school or, in a Zoom, that what your students need to learn, what you want, again, classroom rules. I always set it up as like a constitution, and the students get a chance and hear what learner rights, what classroom rights. If I was doing this with my groups, I'd have them use different colors if I was doing it in groups, because you have that capability within the PDF PAL. Again, it's however the teacher wants to do it. But, then everybody feels like, I know for me, a big buy-in for classroom management is, students not coming in, here are the rules. What should the rules? Let's do this together. Let's be a community of learners together. And this is why we included this from the MESA units. But as you set the stage for your year of learning in all areas, Sarah and I liked the way that this fit into setting up our classrooms. And then finally, in each of our units, we'll have either an activity or an exit ticket. You'll see over on the side, we kind of left that up to the teacher discretion. The one that we wanted to use, though, we created a We the Students, and there would be our classroom. We the students of Mrs. G's class, or Mrs. And that is our class constitution as we begin the year. And we would, and then an exit slip, again, as however you want to use it, as a formative assessment, just hey, I've got it. So anything with the Apple Notes are either answer keys or extra that we thought, would go very well within each unit. So there it is. And we always make sure that the driving question is answered at the very end of each, with some type of an activity. Any questions on that? I know that format, and it'll, if you're familiar and you are with MESA units, it'll all click very easily for you. And then the limit of the powers. Again, we reviewing the bill becoming the law, and you'll see that pattern of starting for yourself and for kids. There's the graphic organizer. There's the big ideas. If I was teaching at school, I would use it on my whiteboard as a guide. But however, from home, you'll be able to use it, and the kids can see it and feel that consistent, because they need that routine and that seamless feeling wherever. So again, vocab, some kind of activity. There's always some kind of a reading, different activities within, and again, optional for what you have. And Sarah, like I said, and myself, we've taught so many years, we still have some of our own things that we would bring in, or we might use as an addition. But we follow that format, so you're covering all of the necessary standards and using it. And again, if you want it as is, here it is. It's ready. any questions on, and then you can just see that you'll go through all 4, and then there's a unit assessment at the end. We've converted all of the MESA unit assessments into a Google form, so it's really easy for you to use and score if you choose. We've put them all into that format. And then we go into in 5th grade, the 3 worlds are going to meet, and within here's the main units, and within each main unit are the units leading to the colonization, the road. I know we shared one yesterday, to the road to the American Revolution. Then we get into the Revolution. That's a fun one if you want to click number 6. If you teach American history, that's, and then within there are all the roadmaps within, and you know, this is a 6-week unit. I mean, that's the Revolution, and we've organized it so, you know, we start off with the causes and using the driving questions from either the MESA units or the Go Open Book, or you know, from what we know that the students need to know. So your standards, your assessments, we have tracking as we showed you yesterday. So they're pretty, once you get the format, it'll be very consistent with what you're familiar with.
And it's going to be the same for the younger learners. The format is the same with the vocabulary and the Go Open Book.
Yeah.
I'm just going to show an example.
Sure, yeah. Is there any questions before we leave the 5th grade? Because I know 5th grade is a huge year of social studies, and that's why also yesterday we shared the M-STEP, because we know those students are taking that state assessment, and we don't know what that's going to look like this year, but there's so much information for them. We have it formatted, and then that's why, you know, we use the 3rd and 4th for those reviews. But anything that, you know, and as you go in and explore against anything that you need to know, you can email our center, and we'll give you those answers. And this is the 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm. So again, the same.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you want to speak to this one, or me? Whatever. I'm good.
Go for it, Denise.
Okay. All right. This is communities. Why people live in communities. What is a community? I have worked with teachers, for an example, in Wayland, Michigan, that have used and went out into their own community, which is I love about that, and they've brought in their own pictures, because 2nd graders can certainly identify to community when they learn what's in their own community. These, again, you can see the big idea, you can see the MESA format coming through, and obviously 4 or 5 notes is a 2nd grade developmentally appropriate for them, as you know. So just want you to see that you'll find that theme: vocabulary, the graphic organizer, the what if, the text from either the web resource or the Go Open Book, whatever was best to bring it to you. And you could add your own as well to that. And I would really suggest that in those community ones that are so easy, or, you know, it's so much easier for those students when they can relate to it. And then this one goes into, you know, families and communities, but see those pictures and stuff in there that are added to go with that information. But you can also add more to that if that's something you'd want to do. So. And that, like all the other apps, those can be read to the students, your kids that need those readings done through Collaborify Writer. It's a wonderful tool. And this kind of goes back into, it starts with the communities, the 2nd grade unit, and flows right in through. If you go back to that main page, we got, you know, here we go. So you can see there again, that full year, the My Open Book and the MESA correlation. And I love that they put that right in there with that apple, kind of like we did in the standards and the others. So, and again, I know in the early L, some people switch those around, and of course, they're not numbered and they're up to your, but you can use as is, or, you know, switch those around as needed with your curriculum or district. Some districts have different, you know, order. So, but the format is pretty consistent.
And
Any
again,
questions?
I just want to make sure we were very mindful and tried to put all the text from the Go Open book in a format that can be read to the students.
Yes. Yeah, because she asked that. That has been one of the challenges of the Go Open book for districts that wanted to use it. Is the big chunk of it was very hard to use. So that's why we brought it in PDFs.
Okay, so questions.
I did see that there was a question from Kelly. I think it's not related to the social studies, but I just want to make sure we didn't ignore her question.
Sure.
About downloading from Sheets. I think she's talking about rostering her kids. I'm not sure if Kelly wants to.
Yes. Dawn, yep, that was it. And I sent her a note, but that's a really important point. How to do it. There's a video, wonderful video.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. This is important.
Anything else? And again, you saw third grade is you know, Michigan history. We know that the bulk of the year in third grade is Michigan history. So all of that is in. Fourth grade turns into you know, your regions of the country, your 5 themes of geography, and they all flow and work well together. And there's always ways to go back and review. In each grade level with all of the units. We set them up so that would be a very consistent, very, you know, scaffolded in ways that, you know, based on your student needs or your needs, that would be very easy for you to have to, you know, add, go back, but move ahead as well. So again, any social studies questions, I'm more than happy to ask based on the units, but you guys are Mesa people, so you probably see that already, how it is.
Can we do some more K1, 2 folks? Liat, Dawn, Denise. I think the Bunche folks are pre-K to 3. So
Okay.
I think, yeah, maybe a couple K1, 2s.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Social studies or math? Social
I think
studies
both.
or math?
I think both.
Well, we already saw first grade and kindergarten, what those look like in math. So, and that would be second grade social studies. Let me pull.
Some ELA too, Liat. Some ELA would help. ELA would also help K1, 2.
ELA, absolutely. Let's do ELA.
Thank you,
Denise,
folks.
I have an echo from your.
This is Denise.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Echo.
Oh, is it me?
Try it.
Yeah, sorry, Denise.
Weird.
Let's see. Oh, Mesa. And again, everything you would search in the repository, I just already downloaded them, so I can search them in my. I can search them in my modify my roadmap. Sorry. So let's do one reading and one writing, just so you get the idea of, again, we use the same format, trying to give students as much structure as we could. That's fourth grade.
Yeah.
I'm looking for, let's say, first grade. There we go. So this is first grade writing. Again, you get to see the full unit, all the concepts. Inside, you're going to click on it, lunch, and you're going to see all the lessons. And this is based, as we mentioned, on the Mesa and the Lucy cooking, so it has the workshop format to it. And this is a very beginning of the year map, so it's very simple, and as we go on, we added some more. So let me open up, so let me open up a more later map so you can see the full lesson and what that looks like. There we go. Oh. So the lesson has mainly three big parts. It has the lesson portion. It has the lesson portion that, again, you can do the lesson, or if you want, we put in a video here for you and other resources. But again, this is really up to you. You can use our resources or you can do it on your own. That's the lesson portion. Then we have the writing notebook. And the notebook is going to follow around. In some cases, like in this one, the notebook is going to follow around throughout the unit. And then they'll have the writing reflection or the sharing piece. And this is a way for you to add your Zoom or Google Hangout Meet link so they can hop on here and have the live workshop with you. For the teacher, we also added the lesson plan and ideas to what to do if you're online. And again, these are the three pieces. And writing, it's going to look exactly the same. It's going to have the lesson. It's going to have their reading, their independent reading time, and at the end, the share. I'm going to show that. I'm just going to open a reading. I'm just going to open a reading map. While I do that, if you have any more questions, please feel free to ask or text or write them in the chat.
I just want to say I love this.
Well, that makes us happy to hear that.
Could you say that again? Yes.
Yeah, we like to hear.
I agree with Miss Jenkins. At least at Grandport, this is for the older kids, this is really awesome for them.
Sorry to interrupt, Denise.
No, I was the same way. Like, but even for your younger, once they get used to this, our younger teachers have had such success with it as well.
So again, all the lessons, and let me pull out one. So you'll see it's very much like a folder. You have the unit, you have the concepts, you have the lessons. And this is what the reader's workshop looks like. And again, you have the option to add here your Zoom or Google Hangout link so your kids can join you and do it together. You have the mini lesson here, and once again, you can do that part or use the video or text that we left here.
So to link our Zoom to that first bubble, we could just copy and paste?
Yes, and I can show you in a minute how to do that. There we go. So that is the mini lesson. To add, you would just go here, click URL, change URL, and paste the link to your meeting.
Thank you.
And of course, take off the Apple node so they can see it. Then they have the read to self time. For the littler ones, we left the timer, but we Apple noded the reading log. It's really up to you if you feel they're ready for it or not, and when to release it. And if you want, you can again just remove the Apple node, add it, and they can record how long they've read. We also told them in the instructions how long they're meant to be reading and exactly what to do. And we have the codes. We use Get Epic. So we have the code. Again, if you have your class in Get Epic, you might want to put your code in here so you can also get the data on how long they read and what books they read. And this is their notebook. And
Is Epic a reading program? Is it books?
Get Epic is a website where you can get books.
It's a library for kids, but it keeps track of how much they read. It's awesome, Shannon. I'll share it with you.
Would you mind showing how to take the apple off again?
Absolutely. So let's say I do want my kids, they're second graders, I do want them to use the reading log. I can link it by bumping the two together. I just drag the reading log into the read to self. I want to change the directions. I click on the link and change directions. And to take off the apple, I just click on the activity, click here on the apple, and it's gone. Back on, off. And now they're gonna see it. And this is their share time, and this can be done again as a whole class or independently, where they reflect. And here are all of your teacher resources, the setup, the lesson plan, the mid-workshop teaching points. Remember how in the middle of the part when they're reading, you have to remind them something? You have it all here. You can release it or just to remind you. It's really up to you how you set it up. But we have everything. If you've never taught Mesa reading, you can still do it. We have it all for you. And all the lessons are going to look exactly the same. Okay, so we showed reading, we showed writing, we showed social studies, we showed math. I think enough talking, and let's get to work.
Can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
For science, is it NSTG, whatever that is that the content you have in here?
For science, we used MLPBL.
Okay.
That is NGSS,
Right.
aligned, Next Generation Science Standards. MLPBL is the name, multiple literacies in project-based learning from the Michigan State University. That's their name for it. But what it is the NGSS science alignment.
So what do we type when we're looking for it then?
So if you're interested in the science curriculum, you need to email us and contact us.
Yes, if you want yes, thank you.
Yeah, we need the 5th grade if possible.
Yes.
For the science.
Yep.
Do you want me to email you on the chat or just email you after?
You can do the chat and then we'll get it to you. We'll make sure
Okay,
that and I will talk. Yep, sure. Thank you. 5th grade.
Okay, so yesterday we did professional development maps number 1 and map number 2 together. You started working on map number 3, and it sounded like some of you even got through it. Why don't we give you, let's look at the schedule here. Why don't we take an hour to continue working. If you are done with map number 3, you can keep going to map number 4. It will help you learn how to modify and customize the map that you download. You already seen some of the tricks and things that we can do, but it will give you a more in-depth view and let you practice. And if you still need to go through map number 3, this will be a great opportunity for you to continue and complete that. It's really an important map. It really teaches you the basics of how to use the website. And then we can reconvene here and start talking about schedules and what you'll do on week 1 as you start rolling roadmaps to your students. So it is now 10:25. Let's meet again at 11:25. We're a little ahead of schedule, like 5 minutes ahead of time.
Does anybody have any questions or anything at all that they're wanting to know before they get to work.
Why don't I show how to get to the maps? All of these PD maps are going to be in your Modify My Roadmap. So you would go to roadmap.center, go to Modify My Roadmaps, and look for your professional development series maps. Then go to map number 3. If you are on map number 4, I believe you need to search for it in the repository. So Modify Roadmaps, your professional development map will be there. Okay, any burning questions before we keep going? Any questions about the map, about roadmaps in general?
Liat, I have one.
Yes.
Is there any way you can preview a roadmap before you download it to your collection?
Good question.
No, I don't believe you can preview it. But if I look at a map, like the UMCDC maps, of course, are curriculum maps that have been peer reviewed and vouched for. But that doesn't mean that other teachers aren't uploading maps that they have created to share with people. And so I've looked at a few maps, and you know, there's a couple that I have, you know, kept in my collection and kind of, you know, altered and used for myself. But once you download it, you can delete it out of your collection if you don't want it.
Okay, just wondering.
It's a good question. It's on the to-do list because people have asked, you know, because it's a process, right? And you'd like to take a look, quick look, right? That's what you want, is a quick look. No. Soon.
So let's talk a little bit about the first week of school. And I'm sure you already have a lot on your mind and what you're going to be doing that week and how is it all going to work with roadmaps. So to help you with the process, we made resources just for the beginning of the school year to support you in that transition. So I'm going to share my screen. And I am taking you back to the Center for Digital Curricula website. It's cdc.ngen.umh.edu. And here we have a Need Help tab. And we urge you to go here. We have FAQs, we have how-to videos. So if you need help at any point, you can always go here. If you were wondering about it, someone else probably asked the same question before. And we have tutorials based on apps. And it's really all here for you. You just click on it and watch a 1-minute how-to video.
Could you show how to search?
Absolutely. How to search a question?
How to search to find the video and on the website. Control F, the word.
Oh, sure. You can also search by word if you click Control F, and can you see here it opened a little bubble for me, and let's say I want video, and there are 6 questions about videos that I can look at.
Go slow, go slow.
Don't make you seasick, huh?
Yeah.
There we go. The word video is up on this page 6 times. Let's say I want a PDF. There we go. And I can click on the app and go to all the questions that regard that app, or just keep going here. And you also have the FAQs. These are the how-to videos. There we go. These are the how-to videos. So this is one resource that you have at your disposal. It's the Need Help tab. In addition, we have the Curricula tab, and that's where I'm going to go right now. Close this. Here you have the Getting Started page. that gives you a rundown of what you need to do, what are the steps. Again, this is a drop-down menu, so you click on it and it shows you what you need to know. You wanted previews. You have previews here of our different curricula. You can kind of see a snapshot of different maps, curriculum maps that we've created. I want to show you the first week resources. That's one of the tabs here. And let me go to the top. There we go. So for the first week, we have some resources for you. We have my first roadmap, because the first time you use a roadmap, your students are going to have to give Google permissions. And to make it, not, and to make it all concise in one, like a Band-Aid, taking it off, but in a fun and engaging way, we made a little scavenger hunt for the kids. It's a map that takes about 15 minutes. The purpose of the map is really to help students give Google permissions to all the apps that they're going to be using throughout the year, so you don't have to do it when you're actually teaching and deal with that. So this is what it would look like. This is the version for the K2, so it does not require reading. We also have a version for 3-6. In each of these nodes, they have, and you're going to show them that they click a node and click launch. They have a clue, and they collect the clues to figure out what the mystery object is. They also have in the instructions here what to do. For them, now I've used Collaborify Writer before, but for them, they're gonna see a Google message and a blue allow button, and they need to click on that, and then they will be able to see the clue. It's just slow with the Zoom. I'm sorry. So here is clue number 1. And remember, they can listen to everything if they click on the speakerphone on Writer. So they don't have to read it, but the first clue is blue. And they keep collecting them until they get it. And at the end, they have opened and have given Google permissions for all the apps that they're going to be using. So after you do that, we have practice maps for you, just for your students, similar to the Mr. Bean map that you were doing yesterday. But their map is about Disneyland. So they get to practice using Writer and using PDF-Pal and all the nice apps that we have as they visit Disneyland. Each kingdom is a different app, and then they have a fun activity associated with. So for example, when they visit Galaxy Edge, they click on Can You Solve It? And they get a Star Wars maze, and they get to practice using the pencil tool and the highlighter and the text. And the little kids, this is a 3.5 version that I'm opening up. The little ones have appropriate worksheets and activities. Still Star Wars, but age appropriate, so don't worry. Okay. We also have, I'm just going to close this. Okay. We also have a first day of school map for you. Now, this is a suggested schedule. Obviously, you know what you need to do on day 1. You probably already have a plan, so feel free to modify it as you see fit. This is just, again, a suggestion. And we left notes for you. This is basically an empty template. So these nodes are empty. They only have instructions, what to put in them. So for example, morning announcements, put in here a video of the morning announcements if you have that, or your daily video. We left in 2 examples of what we mean, but the idea is that you take our resources out and put in what you need to put in. School or class rules. Some teachers I know already probably have it in slides, so you have the option to put it in slides. If it's a PDF, you can use the PDF PAL. And again, insert your school guidelines and your class rules here. Get to know me, get to know you, the teacher. And again, put a video of yourself, introducing yourself to the kids. If you have a slideshow for that, you can just change the app. So again, this is just a template, a suggestion for you, things that you can do on day 1. You have extra resources here on the side, things for parents, how to contact you, other resources that you might want to use, like the how-to videos to show your students. And that is day 1. After day 1 comes week 1. And this
Where's
is,
the link? How do we get to this day 1? Where's the link?
so all of these maps are in the repository.
Okay.
You can search for them, or you can go to the CDC website, and we're gonna leave the link in the chat, and go to the curricula tab, first week resources.
Could you open that one up again, the Disney one, the K2
Sure.
one? Let's.
You want to see the K2 version of the Disney one?
Yeah, that's lovely.
It looks the same, just the activities are going to be more child appropriate. So they're still going to get a PDF, but the PDF is draw lines between the characters and their shadows, for example, and not the
Leah,
yeah.
These are so cool. I have not seen these yet, and I cannot wait to use these with my classes.
I'm so happy. We just modified the activities slightly to meet the level of a K to second grade kids, but it's going to look exactly the same and have the same apps associated with the same kingdoms.
Could you open one and walk through it and give people a sense?
Absolutely. So for example, let's visit Epcot. It's am I saying it right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing they're going to do in each kingdom is a rider node, where they have a video welcoming them to that park, showing them what's there. Then there is
Go slow.
Sure. Then there might be a surprise, like a ride. And here then they see a video, a how-to video for students about the app that they're going to be doing the activity on. So in this case, it's all about Collaborify Map. That's the app that we used for the driving question board. So they're going to watch this 1-minute video, and then they get a chance to go on the Frozen ride. When they're done, they're going to exit out and go to the activity, the Epcot activity. And the instructions, again, are here. Don't worry for your students. They're going to be visible. They have a space so they can listen to the instructions.
You're freezing.
They're going to click launch.
You're freezing.
And they're through, I don't know what word, rides, through the Epcot rides. Sorry?
You're freezing.
Oh, is it better now?
Right this minute, but you were freezing up and couldn't hear what you're saying.
So here they're gonna do the path between the Epcot rides. So they're basically practicing linking things, and they're gonna start from 1 and link it to 2, 3, 4, 5. The older kids are also gonna click the plus sign, and they're gonna click the plus sign and add the number, and they're gonna add a bubble and put in the number of the ride they think would be the best or the one that they're most excited to go on. So for example, I'm gonna type 4. And that way they're practicing in a fun way, linking, adding bubbles on a map.
How do you link? What do you mean link?
They're gonna drag 1 to 2 and create a link. And then they're going to drag 2 to 3 and make a link.
Ah.
Again, keeping in mind that in the social studies map, for example, they'll have this app for the vocabulary words, and they might have linking games like match the image to the word, or match or sort, move things around a little bit to groups. So we are giving them this opportunity to practice using this app as they visit the Epcot rides. Okay, so moving on to the first week. Now, this is a map that we recommend you distribute or send to your whole class so you can all collaborate on this map together. And it has, again, the top 5 apps that we typically use. And you get to do fun activities, but again, as a whole class. And this is a great opportunity to talk about digital citizenship and what does it look like what does it mean to all be working together on the same page or on the same resource. And you have here in the teacher plan, you again have the how-to videos to share with your students to show them. And in the teacher plan, that's not going to be visible for your students. You have suggestions and ideas for different activities you can do on each of these nodes as a class. And we have K2 ideas and 3rd grade and to 5th grade activities for each of these apps. So for example, for the PDF, you can create the classroom rules here, kind of like how you would maybe do it on a large poster. Each kid can write down what's important to him, what he thinks the rules should be. Then they can look to the left, look to the right, see, put a marker next to things that are repeating. Littler kids can draw and then move a page and continue someone else's drawing, keep going. With the Collaborify Writer, they can put half-a-minute videos of introducing themselves. And then you have the whole class and they can watch their peers' videos and get to know each other. They can, older kids can play two truths and a lie that way. They say 2 true things about themselves, 1 lie, and then you play as a whole class, try to guess what is the lie. So again, fun activities that you can do as the whole class together on this map. And then finally, we also have building lessons maps, breaking down our curriculum maps.
Could you go back just a second? Could you go back to that? Let's go slow. So how would you do this? Did you distribute it to the whole class, to each student? How does the teacher create? Unpack it a wee bit more.
Sure. So first, you're going to decide, maybe you have your own ideas, but you can also refer to the teacher plan, decide what activities you want to do on all of these apps. Then you can send this map. If you want to do individual activities, there are ideas here. And that way each student can practice, again, slowly, how to use a PDF file, how to use the writer. And you'll distribute it solo. Or if you want the whole class to work on it together, you will distribute it collaboratively and put your whole class in one group. And Nicole, do you want to share your screen and show again how it's done?
Sure. I am not on that map as of yet, though.
It's okay, just showing the distribution.
Okay, 1 second.
So you could distribute it solo to the kids individually, or you could put all the kids in one group and then all the kids would work on it.
Yes.
And you might not want all 5. It looks like 5. You might want 4. You might want 3. And based on like the teacher plan, you can delete one if you want. Your ideas down there in the teacher plan. It's good. Mm-hmm. And what's in the how-to videos?
All the how to use the different apps tutorials.
Uh-huh.
Everything they need to know, they can watch it before they do the activity so they know how to use the PDF. They can watch it before they use the writer. And again, it's for a whole week, so you don't have to do it all at once. The idea is maybe one activity a day, like the icebreakers for the first couple of days, classroom rules for the later days. Really take your time. It's just to practice slowly and easing them into roadmaps.
Alrighty, so I am at the Center for Digital Curricula site, and I went to the curricula tab and down to first week resources. And I'm scrolling down, and here is the map that Leah is on right now. How can we use road maps to get to know each other and work together? And when I click that, it automatically is bringing me to roadmap.center and opening this map in the modify my roadmap. So now this is my copy of the map. If I wanted to add the legend in up here, I could, but I am going to distribute this map to my classes. And there's a few different ways that you can do this. You can go to the 3 dots and grab a student link. So I can click on that student link, copy that link. I can pop over to my class, and I can go to classwork, and I can create an assignment and add that link right in here for my students as an assignment. So that is one way of going into this. So I could put, you know, first week map if I wanted to assign this. And I'll go ahead and assign that and just leave it in there. So now I can see that my first week map is here for my students. Going back to roadmaps, you can also go to distribute roadmap over here on the left. So I'm going to click distribute roadmap. And I am going to search that map, but over here you can change how your maps are ordered. And so right now it's set up so that whatever map I was on most recently is at the top. So that map is right here at the top. So I'm going to click to select it. I've got to scroll down to click next. Now I'm going to select a class. So maybe I want to put that in, oh, my new classes are not here. Is there a way to update my classes, or do I have to add them in manage classes first?
Manage classes, yep.
Okay, so I don't have my new classes in yet. I just started making them after my snafu yesterday. But I'll throw it into just another class for right now. And so I selected the class I wanted to hit. And right here is where I can choose if it makes a copy of the map for each student and they do it solo, or I can choose to do it collaboratively. When you do it collaboratively, you can send the map to your whole class. So I could press distribute, and all of my students would be collaborators on one copy of the map if I did it this way. If I wanted my students to work in partnerships on this, or small groups on this, I can choose quick options, and I can randomize my groups, and I can choose how many students I want in a group. So if I wanted partners, I can generate that so that they just learn how to do partnerships. I might look at these partnerships and say, oh, let's see. Hey, this did pretty good groups. Oh, this one could use a switch. So I know that Jonathan and Mason, they are just going to get together and play. So I am going to take one of them out and save it. And I am going to put Mason in here and put Sitlali over here. And now I can put Sitlali with Jonathan. And I like those groups a lot better. So now when I press distribute, it will take a hot minute, but it's going to send those partnerships and that map to my group. Are we good?
Yep, thank you.
So finally,
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Finally, the last resource that we have to show you right now is the breaking down maps. Now, this is again a way for you to ease your students into
Leah, can I interrupt one quick second?
Sure.
On that map that she just distributed with collaborators in groups.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Say there is, okay, so there's four or five different things to do, and only 2 of them I want them to work in groups. I'm sorry. There's only 2 things that I want them to work in groups, but 3 of the other things, I want them to do that assignment by themselves. How do I do that? Or can I do that, or do I have to?
So you can. I remember that you asked that. It is a little, it is a bit more advanced to do that. So I would prefer talking to you about it a little like at the end of today, because it is a multi-step process.
Okay, just questioning it. I don't really need to know. I was throwing it out there for the teachers. If any teacher needs to know that, that's something that you're going to have to then email Liat or Elliot for something, because I know probably more so in the higher grades, that would be something you guys would need clarification on. So that if you're doing a multi-step in your map and one you need collaboration, other things you don't want the kids to collaborate on, you're going to have to distribute it differently. You're going to need clarification on with that.
I can show it. We can even show it today, just a little later on. You can do it. We even have that built in some of our maps for you, so you don't have to do it. So the ELA maps, for example, with the writing and reading, the shared, we give you a collaborative classroom area. So if you want to do the shared there, this is for the whole class, and the maps themselves are solo. So we have that built in some of our curricula already, good for you to go.
I have a quick question. When you're distributing the roadmap, I'm doing it. Does it take a long time because it's downloading? I made my daily schedule. Is it because it seems like it's taken like 5 minutes to download a unit? Is that normal?
For a unit?
Yeah, like I'm doing the daily schedule. I copied the 5th grade, but changed my times from.
It does have some nested maps there. It does have the math lesson, the ELA lessons. Those are all maps within your schedule. So
okay. So it will take some time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So as you've seen, the curriculum maps that we created have a pattern. They all have the same structure. We really try to use the same template for each lesson to keep it consistent and easier for students. And for you and for your students, we made these maps, breaking down our templates so you can slowly go through them and practice what does a math lesson will look like, what does an ELA lesson gonna look like, and you can break it down. You don't have to do that all in one day. You can just do on day 1 just the fluency piece, on day 2 just the application, and let me show you what I mean. So part 1 is the fluency on our, backing up. I'm talking about the Engage New York math lesson. And as you saw, and if you're familiar with Eureka Math and Engage New York, you know that math lessons have multiple pieces in them. And they always start with a fluency. So we're going to start off with a fluency and see what that looks like on roadmaps and how to do and what to do there. So when you open it up, this is all about fluency. They have a video explaining what is the fluency and how to do it. Now we made sure that 99% of our fluencies are going to be in Collaborify Writer. So this is so they're learning how to do the fluency piece and how to do it in Writer. Then after they've watched this video, and I can open it up to show you what I mean. It shows them, so the fluency is going to be pink. It's going to have the yellow icon in the middle, and they just watch this overview of what is a fluency and how to do it, and then they practice and they do a fluency. Same for application. You would open that.
Can they write right on the worksheet? Like for the fluency, the 2-minute, are they writing or typing it?
For
Right
the
on.
fluency, because the
For
fluency,
any of the applications, if they're doing the the problem or the practice worksheets, can they write right on the document that's
yes,
in roadmaps?
yes,
So they just can use the little pencil or they can type it in?
yes. Typing would be with the T. They would click, and again, all of this is explained here. I'm actually showing how to write your answer to an application in this video,
Okay,
and how they
thank
can
you.
use the pencil, how they can use the T, and then they practice. And this is again a differentiation here. If you're a kindergarten teacher, you want them to do this application, so you would remove the apple and show them that and hide the first and second one. If I'm a first grade teacher, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to hide the K and show them only this application, because we really wanted them to do something that is at their grade level, something that they can do and something that they will need to do. Most of these examples are from the first lesson of the first unit anyways. So they're basically doing the first lesson just very slowly. And as I mentioned, this is what so they can do fluency on day 1, how to do a fluency, and that's it. Day 2, how you do an application, and then keep going until you build the whole lesson. Because remember, all the lessons are gonna look like this. They're gonna have these 6 components. Okay, so speaking of changing and modifying, Nicole and Dawn are here. So why don't we show them just the basics of modifications? Nicole, do you want to talk a little bit about how to add nodes, delete them, and link them?
Sure.
You want me to share? You want me to share, or do you want to share?
No,
Can you also show us how you can move the nodes to different locations without
Yes.
linking them? Like if we're copying, like tweaking somebody else's, how we can move one above or below it?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I need to get this out of my way. How do I move this? There we
Oh,
go.
the Zoom, our faces are in your
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I'm trying to move things off my screen there. Sorry. I'm not always the one driving. So I am back here on the CDC site. And in that curricula tab, I'm going to use a schedule to show you how to change some things versus a curriculum, because I feel like the schedules will apply more thoroughly to everyone versus grabbing a curriculum map. So on the schedules tab, we have all sorts of different schedules. There's full day, there's a half day template, there's little mini templates, lower L, all sorts of different ones that you can click from. And I really like the idea of sending a whole week at a time. I see my students 5 days a week for 50 minutes for 7 weeks this year. And then I'll get a new group of students. So I am probably going to distribute mini maps, because I only have 50 minutes with them as a specials teacher, and do it in a 1 week type of thing. So I'm going to start with this sample 3rd grade week map. And when I click that, it automatically loads that into the modify my roadmap so that I have the ability to change anything. It's my own copy. It's not going to hurt the original version of the map, which is, you know, really, really nice. And so when I want to edit these, I can click on that node and the drawer pulls out, and I'm not going to date them because I'm going to use these 5 times this year, once with each group of students I see. I have 5 7-week terms this year. So I'm just gonna leave it at Monday. And I'm a really colorful person. So I'm gonna click on style and change the color of that map. And I can go through and do that for each one of these. So I can edit that title so it just says the day, and I can change the color. I can also add instructions into these if I need to. But at this time, I'm not. Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Okay. So at this time, I'm just gonna leave it. It says, you know, click launch and then complete all nodes for today. So all of these say that they are Collaborify roadmaps. So that means when I open this map and I press launch, there's going to be an entire roadmap inside of that original daily map. So up at the top, we have I Wish My Teacher Knew, Read Alouds, Music Maker, and so these are just suggestions for these. You can see that they are Collaborify Writer nodes, there's a web resource node, there's a flipbook node down here. And so this is where that schedule really floats to whatever you are. So I might change this to, if I was a classroom teacher, this might be our morning meeting space. And if I launch this morning meeting space, I can edit any of the activities that I want in here. So this is Pooja's video, and you know, Pooja's video might be really great, but I know that I need to put my own stuff in here for my classroom. So I'm just clicking like the less than arrow here, and then it shows more. And I can hit the trash can and delete. I can do the same on this one, delete. And then I can use the addition sign or plus sign at the bottom to add my own thing. So I'm gonna start with the header. Good morning, students. And I can hit the plus sign again. And this is where I'm going to add my video. And a lot of times I mesh, like join these together so that they're all kind of on one page versus two, so that my students don't have to scroll down. So I could choose to add my video in here, but I'm just gonna link them together. So this arrow with the two tails pushes them up and links them together. So now when I add my video in here, it's all on one page for the students to check out. So next thing is the read aloud. You know, it's the same as the writer. Maybe I put those together, but again, same thing. I can press launch and I can edit anything I want in here. So the read aloud for today, she has what would you wish? And you know what, I think that's great. I'm just gonna leave that one alone. This web resource is definitely not what I want. We are practicing something else. So I am going to put like a review game in here. And before we get into things, I am going to change what they're doing. So I know that I want my students to kind of review a skill that we did yesterday. Maybe I'm a kindergarten teacher and I'm working on counting and so on and so forth. So let's say we want to do the counting fish. I'm going to highlight up at the top and copy this link. I'm gonna head back to my map, and right here where it says URL, I'm going to change the URL and paste the URL from the site I want in there. And now when students launch this, it's going to take them directly to that ABC Yeah game without having to click anything else. The nice thing about this, have you shown them a student view, Liat?
Not yet.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's lunchtime. I think that's what's on the schedule. Can we pick up after lunch?
Yes, so let's just quickly wrap it up in 1 more minute, and then we can go to lunch. We showed you some resources for day 1. We started showing you how to modify a map. After lunch, we really want you, I know some of you are not done with map 3 and map 4, but we really want you to grab a schedule and really start playing around with it, and start building something that you might actually use next week. So it is now 12:05. When do you want to get back? How long is lunch? 30 minutes?
Sounds good.
So let's meet back at 12:35 and and we'll show you how to grab a schedule and modify it.